What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline. As always, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. We currently have a goal of 250 subscribers, and we're sitting at about 185. So once we hit that 250 subscriber mark, we will be giving away an Arkham series Harley Quinn hot toy courtesy of Lane on the channel. But let's get right into it. Guys, we have a really special one today. Believe it or not, we did get a new Black Panther figure, and this is just not any Black Panther. This is a Chadwick Boseman Black Panther figure. Obviously, guys, this one is very special to a lot of us. Unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman did pass away a few years ago, and it's never been the same since without him. But it's good to see that Hot Toys gave us a figure kind of to memorialize him. You can see here they're calling it the Black Panther Legacy figure. I feel like they're probably going to do more in this line, being that they kind of established a separate line with this guy. But that kind of remains to be seen. To be honest with you, I'm very surprised that they gave us the head sculpt. When someone asked me this before, if I thought that we would get another Black Panther with the head sculpt, honestly, I was leaning more towards that they wouldn't do that. But hey, I guess Disney approved it and everything aligned where they, aligned where they're able to do that. So now we have this figure here. So right off the bat, guys, you could see there's an immense amount of detail put into this figure. You can kind of see right here, if we zoom in, all of this detail in between the lines. And not only that, the detailed lines are very deeply detailed and very noticeable. I think this one's going to look amazing from far away even. All those details etched in deep into the suit are going to look amazing in hand and on the shelf. If you didn't notice already, we do have the ceremonial shield that he used in the couple of the fights in the film. The first one being against M'Baku and the second one being against Killmonger. This little dagger here, they did include with the first movie release, the solo release of the Black Panther figure, which I have here in the background. And I'll kind of show you that at the end so we can kind of get an idea of what the head sculpt's going to look like. As you can see, this is a reused head sculpt so far. We don't know if they're going to change that, but this is a reused head sculpt from the solo movie Black Panther figure. In person, it doesn't look terrible. It's just a little bit off. I'm hoping that maybe this is a placeholder that they put there for now until they can improve it and work on it. I did see someone mention that they wanted a new sculpt on JC Hong's Facebook post about this figure, and he liked that, so maybe it's a sign that they're listening. But with that being said, it still is a great sculpt. It does need a little work, but if we did get this, guys, I wouldn't be completely disappointed. It still definitely looks like Chadwick Boseman, in my opinion. You got to be careful, though, with the posing on this guy. You can see they have him in kind of like the Wakanda Forever pose that he gets in. There is a little bit of wrinkling here on the suit that you can notice in the photos, and that is the same case for this previous release of the movie Black Panther that I have. That's kind of why I keep him in a museum pose, because personally I don't want to mess up the material that he's made out of. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Spider-Man. Obviously, a lot of those Spider-Man suits aren't very forgiving, and I would kind of tend to lean towards the same thing with this one. But with that being said, you can see here, even with the arms down and at his size, he still looks amazing. So I wouldn't be too worried about getting a good pose out of this guy. I mean, it's the Black Panther. It's Chadwick Boseman. You really can't go wrong in any pose, to be honest with you. Also, you could see that he does have the ceremonial mask as well from the first fight with M'Baku. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't believe he wore that in the fight versus Killmonger. But this is an amazing additional accessory that they offer with this figure. I will say right off the bat, guys, this is the Civil War suit, or as close to the Civil War suit as we're going to get. I believe this is almost the identical suit with a few minor differences here and there. This would be the suit that he wore before he got the upgraded suit, which you see here from Shuri. As you know, the original suit, we saw it in the jungle scene in the beginning. He took his helmet physically off, whereas with the new suit that Shuri built him, he was able just to think the mask away, essentially. It also had that technology where he would absorb all of the kinetic energy and kind of use it to his advantage against his enemies. So this is not that suit. This is the predecessor to that. I believe this also would have been the same suit that T'Chaka, his father, wore when he was the Black Panther. But it looks amazing, guys, and you're going to see here in a second. There's a shot with the mask on and everything. See, the moment I saw the mask and the shield, I'm like, dude, I got to do a custom ceremony figure. I got to get a Fison body, paint it up a little bit with the ceremonial paint that he put on his chest, his back, and his face, and give him the head sculpt and the mask and everything from this figure, because I'm going to be using the helmet on this one since I have the sculpt in my previous version. So I'm definitely going to be doing that custom for sure, because I love the Black Panther, so it's a no-brainer to me. And it's a good use of those extra accessories for sure, because obviously most people, they'll probably display him with claws out like I do, just because that's Black Panther. He uses his claws. He's a panther, you know, so definitely really, really cool, and I'm really glad that they decided to add some extra accessories. Here's an amazing pose. Again, guys, you could see where this suit kind of bunches up, so you definitely have to be careful. The bunching up around the ankle, I'm not too concerned about. That's pretty normal. Also, if you think about it, it's natural that a suit would bunch up around the ankle where you're moving your ankle. So I don't think that's too bad on Hot Toys' part. The knee is kind of bent in a weird way right here. Not going to lie to you, but that's okay. They're just trying to get it in a cool pose for the photo. And being that this suit is kind of tighter on the figure, it's pretty impressive they were able to get him into that pose anyway. Here's another shot, kind of an action shot here. The suit looks a bit smoother here because it's not in as drastic of a pose. And like I said, the claws are the way to go for a lot of people, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of us did not use those ceremonial weapons in the mask. Again, another shot. And here's a shot here where it won't hurt the suit too much if you pose him in this manner, but he still looks amazing. He looks powerful. He looks ready to go. And you don't have to do anything crazy with the suit to where you might be worried about damaging it, because it's perfectly fine here. I will say, guys, and we'll see this in a photo once we get to that slide, but they did improve the proportions on this from the original Civil War Black Panther release. And I think also even over the movie solo version, the proportions look amazing. He looks buff. I'm sure you guys remember long before Chadwick's passing, especially in Civil War, he did put on a lot of muscle, and this is very close to what his build was like in Civil War going into the first solo film. So I'm glad to see that they made some drastic changes there. If I haven't said it already, this is definitely a 2.0 over a reissue. It's easy to use that reissue terminology because it's the first thing everybody throws at it when it's a reuse of a figure. But this is a 2.0 through and through, in my opinion. We've got updated details on the suit, updated proportions on the figure, and just overall, I think they've done a great job. Also, another thing they did, which we'll see in a photo once we get to it, is there's now toe articulation. So we have toe articulation, which we did not have in the two previous Black Panther releases. And I think that's pretty cool because Black Panther is obviously the character that's like very acrobatic. He gets in these crazy low action poses and stuff. So to be able to bend his toes just gives you more posing options. Again, be very careful with this figure when it does release, or if you currently have a Black Panther figure or you plan on picking up maybe the solo film one anytime soon. Be very careful and mindful of the suit when you're posing it because you will damage it over time if you do anything too crazy. It's possible that if you do a very basic pose and it creases a little bit, you can put it back to normal and let it sit, and it might kind of loosen up a little bit. But again, just be very careful, especially if you're new to these style of figures. Here's a shot of the head sculpt. Again, guys, the head sculpt is great. Is it perfect? No. But it's very special that Hot Toys was able to make this happen for us and give us this Chadwick Boseman head sculpt. Because again, me personally, I was convinced that the solo movie head sculpt, that was it. That's all we were going to ever get of Chadwick. After he passed away, I figured they would kind of leave it be. But I'm happy that they didn't because this is very special for a lot of people, including myself. And everyone's going to have a chance to own a Chadwick Boseman Black Panther figure in 2023, because that's when it's going to come out, maybe 2024. But we'll be able to honor him in our own special way in our displays, and this is very awesome to see. I know a lot of people kind of lost their minds over this when they were so excited, and it's good to see that. It's very heartwarming because when stuff like this comes out and Hot Toys kind of drops a bomb on us, I like to see the community kind of come together and say, this is what we wanted. Thank you so much, Hot Toys. I know the 2.0s and the reissues aren't very exciting for some people, but I think this one, generally, most people can agree on. This is awesome. This is incredible, and it's very, very special, as I've said a few times. Again, the proportions, I can't get over how good the proportions are. They really focused in on these proportions, and I think it's way more accurate to what we saw in Civil War going into the Black Panther standalone film. There's an awesome, that's a classic Black Panther action shot right there. And I want to zoom in again on these details. You can see kind of the details hitting off of the lighting in this photo. The helmet as well looks amazing. Have zero complaints about the details in this figure. They kind of spared no expense on the details, so no complaints there. Here's another one, awesome action shot. Okay, so this is one of the important things that I want to focus in on. So we have the MMS 363, which is the first Civil War version of Black Panther. That's the very first Black Panther release we have from Hot Toys. And as you can see, there are some drastic differences here. Now, I will say a lot of people might still be a fan of this look, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you spent money or you got it when it originally came out, I don't want you to feel upset that this figure is coming out because they are still different. And realistically, I wouldn't blame you if you kept this one and got the new one. I'm keeping my solo movie version because that's obviously a different suit, but this one has a different look to it. So if you decide to keep it, don't feel too bad about it. It still looks amazing. It's still a great figure. But you can see here, guys, the proportions are drastically different. In this one, you got more of like almost like a human, more human look. This is like a human in a suit, and this is like Black Panther. You know what I mean? This is like superhero look Black Panther. Not to say there's anything wrong with this one because I don't hate the proportions on this one. I think this one is just beefier and kind of more accurate to what we saw in the film. But really, really cool, guys. I love the updated proportions here. No complaints about that. And again, the details as well have drastically changed. You can kind of see in this chest area, there's like almost like a woven looking material in between this etched in detail, which you don't have as much on the original one. Also, you can kind of see it in the leg area. Just more details overall in the suit. No complaints there. I'm really, really impressed by this. I think Hot Toys kind of knew that this was going to be a very important release for them and a very special, important release for a lot of people. So I think they kind of checked off all the boxes with this one. Like I said, the only thing is I think the head sculpt could use a little bit of work, and I'm hoping, once again, that that's a placeholder. I want to zoom out a little bit because you can see here what I was talking about earlier. You have bendable toes now, and we love to see this. We love to see more options for posing, and I think it was an obvious one for this figure because it's Black Panther. And if some of you guys don't remember, there's many moments in the film where he's kind of like holding his ground, or maybe when he was fighting against those big like rhino type creatures in the Solo film, when he was stopping them, those were kind of what his feet were. That was kind of like the manner that his feet were posed in. So this makes a lot of sense in my opinion. And we do have a close-up shot of that woven detail that I was talking about. It looks incredible, guys. There's nothing really more I could say. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'm just very excited about this figure, as I'm sure many of you are. They just kind of went all out with this, as they should have, and it looks amazing because of it. No complaints here with this guy. We have another close-up shot of the enhanced muscle suit, as they call it. Look at that trap area, man. He's got some serious muscle underneath the suit in this figure. And also in the calf area, you could see a lot of detail there as well. Again, they kind of spared no expense with the detail on this guy. Sorry if I'm kind of flinging the mouse all over the place. I just kind of noticed I'm doing that. But again, I'm just really excited about this figure, so I'm kind of all over the place. But hey, I'm sure you all were going crazy this morning if you're awake when this dropped. I had to wake up to it at 5 in the morning, but still I was very pleasantly surprised. So, but that's what you get with the figure. So I think we get a decent amount of hands. Obviously, we're going to get hands that hold both the weapons and the shield. I think it's really nice that they included the ceremonial gear because, again, that leaves open options for customs. Obviously, he wasn't wearing the Black Panther suit when he had this in the film. He was just wearing the shorts, and he had the ceremonial paint and stuff on his body. But it's nice that they included it because it leaves it open for other options. Again, I'm going to put the helmet on mine, and then I'm going to use the sculpt, the mask, and the weapons for a custom with the Fison body. So that's my plan. I'm going to try my best at painting. That's going to be my first time actually painting a body. I've done head sculpts a couple times just to do touch-ups, but I'm going to give it a shot. It appears, and I'm going to look over here, it appears to be about the same display base right here that came with the Solo film version. Obviously, this does not have any of that black light technology because this isn't that suit, but this is still very, very nice, and I'm very excited about this. Pricing-wise, I believe this one's going to come in at about $295 in the US. What I'm comparing it to is like Kenobi, Vader, releases that have come out recently. I know it's Star Wars versus Marvel, but I feel like Hot Toys has tried to be more fair with pricing lately for the non-die cast and stuff that doesn't come with a special diorama display base. So I'm gonna say $295 on this one, and I'm pretty firm on that. I think that's a fair price, and I think they'll come in lower than we expected. But real quick, before we bring it back to the main camera, I just wanted to take a little trip down memory lane and pull up the old Civil War Black Panther. I know we saw a brief image of it there when they were comparing the two, but you can kind of see, guys, just right off the bat, how much softer the details are on the suit on this guy and on the helmet as well. I think guys can kind of tell me get rid of that. I hate that. But you can kind of see it, and that's not taking anything away from this figure. I just think that I just want to say it's hugely improved. Also, while we have this pulled up, now everybody is talking about this Civil War Bucky. Everybody wants another Winter Soldier. I personally would like the first Winter Soldier with the mask and the goggles, but who knows if we're going to get that. But a lot of people are like, it's time. Give us another, since we're talking about 2.0s, give us a 2.0 Bucky. Hey, anything is possible at this point. I don't know if that's the first thing on their minds, but definitely possible for sure. But yeah, like I said, not taking anything away from this figure because it's still a classic. It's still a great figure. But the new one is basically a complete overhaul of this figure. So not surprised at all that a lot of people are a little bit upset because it kind of devalues the original one. But hey, again, they are different in certain ways. If you have this one now, put it this way. If you want to keep it because you invested some money into it, you could have one with the sculpt and one without. And I think that'll make you feel a little bit better because you can kind of have maybe one fighting Killmonger, or you can have one in the Avengers display. Make your own world, as I always say, with your displays. And don't feel too bad about 2.0s. For some figures, they're inevitable. You just kind of have to make it work if you're not willing to sell it because you spent too much money on it. Obviously, that happens a lot. When we find a figure that we want, sometimes we spend a little bit too much. So it's totally understandable why some people would be upset. But let's bring it back to the main screen. I think that's enough on the Civil War Black Panther. And we're back. So guys, once again, this is a very special release. Let me actually grab the solo film Black Panther that I have here with the Chadwick Boseman head sculpt. If I can get it to focus. Focus a little bit. Yeah, so you could see, guys, this head sculpt is definitely Chadwick Boseman in my opinion. It is a little bit off, but you know, I would not be completely dissatisfied if this is what we got with the new figure. But you could see, even on the old figure, there's an immense amount of detail on this guy. And again, that head sculpt, I'm a fan. But in case you haven't noticed, this is going to be a cop for me. Lately, Hot Toys has just been putting out a lot of fire, a lot of stuff that interests me. So because of that, this is going to be a cop for me. It's a Chadwick Boseman Black Panther figure being announced in 2022. So it's very, very special. I think that a lot of people are going to end up picking this one up. It won't be limited, I don't think, because this is a general release. However, I think the pre-order numbers on this guy are going to be pretty high right off the bat. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Is this a cop, or do you already have a Black Panther, or you're not interested in Black Panther at all, and this is a flop? I feel like this is going to be a cop for a lot of you if you collect Marvel. But let us know. Let us know down in the comments below. But that's all I got for you guys. As always, if you aren't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Get us to that 250 goal so we can give out that Harley Quinn Arkham series hot toy. And drop a like on this video if you enjoyed what we talked about today. I do have 2 videos that will be going up next week. I have 2 figures coming in to review, so keep an eye out for that. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already so you can be notified whenever we go live and or when new content is posted. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you for stopping by.